Truth Around the SML, boys. Here we come, back at you, three-quarter edition, fellas. What's going on, fellas? Coach Pauly here on another edition of the Truth Around the SML, the only show in the SML that gives you the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay, I know these other shows try to replicate it, but you know there ain't no replication of this show. I'll tell you that right now, because it's only the truth. So on this show today, I get a very, very special caller that I feel, you know, at times gets disrespected in the SML. He doesn't really come on the chat. You know, he comes on once in a while, but when he comes on, he makes his voice heard, especially when his record is good, which, you know, right now it is. He's on a little losing streak, but we're going to talk about that also in a second. So the rest of the show, I'm going to go, obviously, the only true top 10 power ranking in the SML. You know, there's no numbers and dorky kids trying to make up rankings. You know, this is ranking straight from the heart, and I'll tell you how I generate the rankings. Then I'm go the Truth's Game of the Week. We got a doozy, Game of the Week, Week 13. And then we got some water cooler talk to end off the show. Just some info for the boys. And I got, you know, three teams that have been huge disappointments this cycle that expected to win one, and I don't think are going to win one, and I'm going to call them out at the end of the show. So without further ado now, I'm going to give him a little introduction and bring him off with some questions. You know how we do here. So without further ado, let's see if we can give him a little intro here so you know who he is.
Hey, help me sing it, homeboy. Come on. Say code 45 and 2 zigzags. Baby, that's all we need. We can go to the park, after dog, smoke that tumbleweed.
So without further ado, Colt 45, are you there?
I am here.
What's up, buddy? Thanks so much for being on the show. I know you're the Truth disciple, and you know you've been a. We'll talk about it later, but you've been a you know, one of Prime's. I don't know how to say it, but one of the guys he attacks when you get a good record. But we'll talk about that a little later. The first question I got for you: any big additions in the offseason? How's your team in the injury front going into the later half of the season?
Injury front, you know, I'm mind blown. Every season, I end up, I don't like making a bunch of excuses, but every season I end up with my best players. I've either got Isabella down or a quarterback down or multiple receivers down. I've had Hassan Reddick down, but this season I haven't had a single injury last more than a week.
Wow, that's pretty good, man. You know, unlike my team.
Sure, I jinxed it.
Unlike my team, man. Unlike my team, you know, the last game I got 3 of my studs hurt, and you know, we'll see. We'll test my depth. But that being said, you're in a 3-game losing streak. You came out hot. I looked at your schedule. You played some all right teams. You know, none of the big teams, and then you have a 3-game losing streak. You know, and then next of all people, you have the BG, the baby goat. Man, you know, you have any words? What do you think about this game coming up for your team and what it means?
Well, I'll start off. I'll just go over this whole losing streak and let you know how we got here now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got myself embarrassed on primetime TV, gave Prime all kinds of things to joke about, and that kind of started off the streak against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Nothing was working. He's a great player, even better than his record shows.
Really? He's good, huh?
Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
He's one of the... Could have been a one-off game. It could have been Madden helping him. Who knows? But from what it felt like, there's very few people in this league that I just couldn't figure out. Like, I couldn't figure out stopping his offense.
Wow. Oh, that's pretty good.
So he locked me down, and then I went into the game against the Eagles, knowing I needed the win, and it was a great game. I'm still salty over that phantom pass interference at the end.
That was a close call. That was a close call, that game. I watched that game. It was an awesome game till the end.
Yeah, phantom pass interference, in my opinion. I'm going to keep saying that. I didn't score a touchdown in that game. So, I mean, I'm not going to say I would have won, but it would have gave me hope. And then I went into my game this past week. And once again, we fought hard. It came down to the wire, and it just wasn't meant to be at the end.
Who was it?
So now I'm looking. Oh man, who did I play this?
That's not respect for whoever it is.
Hey, he was good. I'm trying to think who it was now. I was so upset I turned the game off, and that was that. I haven't turned it back on.
Hey, I like a guy who wears his emotions on his sleeve. That's good, man. You know, that's the way you want it, you know, a lot of times. So going on a little bit now, you know, Prime, even last season and a lot of this season, you know, he thinks, you know, I've heard through others that admit that he thinks you're, you know, kind of a doormat in the SML. You know, he takes shots at you on Total Access and don't at me, bro. As soon as you get a good record, he doesn't respect who you played. He doesn't really respect, you know, your game. It's just every time he's on Total Access, he just says, you know, oh, he's not for real. And then he puts you on the game of the week to put the heat on you a little bit. And, you know, it's something between you and Prime. Like, whenever you start to do good, I don't know if he's threatened or what, but he gives you no respect. He, like, you know, like I said, I've heard that he thinks you're just a doormat, you know, kind of guy, you know? So what do you think about that?
Well, when I first joined SML, the final season of Madden 19, me and Prime played in the playoffs, and I was inside the red zone, down 6, and threw an interception in the red zone. So he knows he's got something to fear. As for Prime himself, I can't knock his gameplay. The guy is great. But I can say, after listening to him and QB's coverage of my game, QB knows his stuff, and he's as smart as everybody makes him sound. Prime, he's got jokes and he's entertaining to listen to, but it's pretty clear he doesn't know talent.
Yes, I know. I've heard a lot about that too. You know, you hit the nail right on the head, as Prime would say, you know. Yeah, QB, you know, that was a good call of your game. You know, and like I said, I watched the Chiefs game, and I don't think you were ready, or you were not expecting what he was about to bring in that game, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting my run game to get shut down like it did. And once it got shut down, it was all on me to try to stop his high-powered offense and keep it low-scoring, and that just wasn't going to happen that game.
Yeah, that does it sound like here. Hold on, Prime's chiming in here again. Let's see what Prime got for us. He's chiming in.
You hit the nail right on the head.
There you go. There's a little Prime action there. All right. Next, we got Week 15, okay? Now, Week 14, you have the Baby Goat, which is a huge game. But Week 15 might be your biggest game left in the season, because after that, you have some division foes that you usually clean up on. But 15 is Seahawks, the guy who has a stranglehold in that division for most of this cycle, if I'm not mistaken. Now, do you have anything going into that game? This is the biggest game. If you win that game, most likely you'll take the West if everything happens. So, do you think this is the biggest game of your season, Week 15?
All right, I don't look past anybody, especially not the Baby Goat.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, if I somehow beat BG, that's great. But I'm not going to be feeling any better, because I know what's going to come down to is me versus the Seahawks. I can't let him win, because if he takes the tiebreaker, and I'm going to say right now, I don't expect him to beat the Eagles, not without DK.
Mm-hmm. True.
If he takes that tiebreaker, my season's over, and all those good feels early on mean nothing.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down to that regardless, whether I win or lose against the Skins.
Yeah, that's going to be, I hope that's going to be that Week 15 game of the week. You guys up there, all the smart guys up top, you got to listen to the truth. Right now, that looks like game of the week early on. Next question, I got 2 more questions for you. Who do you have being in the Super Bowl? Say, take away yourself. Say, we know you're going to probably be there, right? Every coach wants to be there. If you're not there, who do you see in the Super Bowl?
You know, maybe I'm just still hurt after playing the Chiefs, but I think the Chiefs is big time underrated, and I think he's going to end up pulling it off and going to the Super Bowl.
That's funny.
He's probably going to lose to BG.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't know, this Chiefs guy, like, I looked at his record, I did some, you know, the truth, scouting, and he lost to Raider fan. That one loss kind of got me off a little bit, but some of his wins have been pretty good. Now, last question here, you know, I know you have to prepare for the Redskins, and you got a lot of preparations to do, so I got one more question for you. If there was one player in the SML, currently in the SML, that, you would not feel bad at all putting a 50, 100 spot, if it wasn't against the rules, of course, and rub it in their face, and you wouldn't feel bad. Most people feel bad, blowing me out because I'm an old guy, whatever, not that good. But what guy in the league would you do mercy rule and not feel bad?
To be honest with you, I think I'd go with Prime.
Prime, huh?
What could be more fun? I mean, if we're blowing it out and we're not being good sports anyway, go ahead, blow him out, wait for the GG, wait for his excuses, and then leave it with a don't at me, bro.
That would end it off great, wouldn't it? That would end it off great because you and him got this thing going on, man. I've seen it even going back to, last season or a couple seasons ago when you had a good record. And on Total Access, he's like, oh, here comes 45 again with his good record, But, yeah, definitely, that would be a great game. That would be a great game. And if you did blow him out, I think
It's gonna be fire.
Prime tuning in again. He won't stop letting other people have, the limelight in the SML. But, hey, I wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. And I'm a big supporter of yours in the NFC, as long as you don't take my playoff spot, which I probably won't be there. But good luck in your upcoming games versus Skins. And do you have anything else to say to the league?
It's a great league, best league out there. I'm happy to be on the best show in the best league.
Woo! Oh, man, this guy is going to be a repeat on this show, man. The Truth Disciple. They lie in the weeds, but they come out to play when we call them. So, hey, thanks, Colt, and good luck the rest of the way, bud.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon. Have a good one.
All right, bud. All right, we're going on. Quick run around the league here. We're going quick, we're going fast, we're going furious here. AFC North, okay, how would things look? We got two teams. Okay, this is a two-team race. Okay, Browns and Ravens. My boy, Woodsy and Meat Sweats right there. 9-3. It's going to come down to, okay, obviously, who loses the least games going forward. Both of them split the season series, if I'm not mistaken. And I want the Browns to win so bad. I want Woods to win. He's the 40-plus posse. So I want him to win, but I don't know the schedules going forward. I'd say whoever doesn't win has a good shot at, the playoff wild card. So hopefully if they keep winning a couple more games, both of these guys will be in the playoffs. Now, the Bengals, okay? What's going on, Roland? A lot of fishing, a lot of golf, man. You got to put it in next season, last season. Time to make some noise. This division is very top-heavy and has been very top-heavy division, as of late. But, what are you going to do? Steelers is new to the league. The Bomber, the Unabomber, I call him. He adds great content to the league, and those guys are, can't find those guys too often running around. So I'm glad to have him in the league. And the jury's still out. I don't know if he's won a game yet, but this ain't the primer, son. This ain't the primer. AFC South, again, the Colts, another AFC South probably title. I don't see Dump, I don't know what's going on with Dump. I'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. But 7-5, second place, a disaster, especially with the talent that he has. Then you got Field Gen, the usual bottom floor of the division, 2-9, even though he had one good season. He's back, 2-9. He's working a lot of overnight hours. You got to God bless him. He protects us, our country. So that is what it is. And you got Tinny Titans, a couple seasons ago, I thought he was going to, be better and be good. But he kind of just busted his load, man. He busted his load. I know he has one big win this season, but Tiny, come on, man. 1-11, you're a better player than that. That's like KJ territory right there. And you're always telling me that you're better than him. So, the record has to increase a little bit more. AFC East, no longer the best division in the SML. Those times have passed. We got the smartest guy in the room, self-proclaimed, 11-0, Patriots, stomping on the AFC. I'll tell you right now, this is one guy that Prime does not want to see, is QB Stud. He's the guy that, gives Prime night sweats, just thinking about the matchup in the playoffs and losing to him again, because he can outsmart you. He knows the game very well. Jets, my boy Alex, 7-5. He just took over the team, so it's to be determined still what he's going to do. Maybe next season he could be dangerous. He does scout his opponents out pretty well. Oh, actually, he's the Bills. We got I'm all confused. We got Royce. Oh, that's why I didn't remember who the Jets were, because he hasn't done anything this season. He lost to me. You know, I'm going to talk about him later in the show too, Royce. I'm going to talk about him later in the show because he's a big disappointment. We got the Bills, Alex. Like I said, he's going to be good going forward. He could give some people, if they sleep on him, some trouble. And then we got KJ Lander, my boy, man of the people, 2-9, better record than Tinny Titans. Don't forget that, Tinny. I think he's really, he really adds a lot to the league, man. He's a humble guy, a good guy, and like I said before, a guy I wouldn't mind babysitting my kids. That's how I know he's trustworthy, this guy, KJ. So hopefully next season he can make this division more challenging. Right now, I would say it's one-team race, especially with Royce kind of, forgetting to show up to work as of late. AFC West. Now, this is a very interesting division here. Interesting. Chiefs 8-3. Corey Keeps coming in from the primer and making some noise, even though we lost to Raider fan. But Raider fan 6-5. He's still in the mix, but I don't know if he has what it takes to beat this guy. I see the Chiefs play a couple times. He's very dynamic. He has a lot of weapons. Mahomes can throw, backwards and not even looking, 90-yard dots. So he's talented, But Broncos, my boy Chris, 5-6, Mr. Mediocre, not going to cut it. And then you got Blunt Burner, high in the sky at 4-8. So I see the Chiefs taking this division, definitely. I don't even see a wild card really coming out of this division as of now. Let's move on to the NFC North, the black and blue division. We got the Vikings, 9-3 in the pack, 9-3, just like it always is after the Oshie left, isn't it? I know the pack thought he was going to run away with it when Oshie left, but hey, there's somebody with a lot of experience that came knocking on the door. But I will say, yesterday, lost Hines, lost my two young receivers. Now I'm left with Diggs, 45-year-old, and Dorsett, 59-year-old receiver. I think it's going to be trouble for me. He might win by default. I hate saying it, unless something goes with Gurley. But that's this division, 9-3. We got Coop, who kind of came out of the gates early, very fast. And I know we lost Cohen and got a little beat down by Pauly last week. But he's a good competitor. I think next season he's going to be even better. Next season, now that he knows the division and how each of us play. PJ 1-11. I got lucky and I beat him yesterday with my guys going down every single play. But he's having a rough season, man. I don't think the Lions have much talent. Hopefully, he can work on that next season. NFC South. This division, even though I played two of these guys coming up, and they might beat me now that they're playing a JV team, but Falcons 8-4. I think they're the best team. It's hard to say, but I think they're the best team. NYT, you never know if he's hot or cold. You don't know if he's coming or going. That's just what the Troll's life is like. You don't know with him. You don't know where his head's at. We got Grumpy Mike 7-5. I play him next week, and he's probably going to put the beat down because there's one guy in this league that wants to end the truth, and it's Mike. So I have a feeling he's going to be motivated for that game, especially with a couple of my backups getting time. We got ZZ the Great, 4-8. ZZ the Great, he's coming in. Yesterday, his QB was atrocious. I don't know if he, got his goggles fixed or his contacts in or what, but that game was ugly last night that I watched. Then we got Buccaneers, the Crusader, the superhero of the SML, 2-10. Very disappointing so far, but again, I play him, so, never know what can happen there. NFC East, the best, hands down, division. Was even better when Grams was Grams, but Grams is taking some time off to really be average lately. So right now we got the BG, 10-2, Baby Goat. We got the Eagles, 10-2. This is the best division, I would say, hands down. And we got the Cowboys, Grams. He's got Prime, I think, coming up. That could be a big game, a lot of trash talk. Then we got my boy Figs, the SML NFC Bear Drinker at 3-9. He's, again, he did promise his team was going to be better. So far, he's got a lot of work to do. NFC West, very interesting. 2 7-5 teams here, 2-team race, Cardinals and Seahawks. They both have a hard schedule left, one playing the Eagles, the other one playing the Skins. And they play each other week 15, which should be a game of the week, SML, no doubt in my mind. So, Colt 45 and Future going at it, those two teams, for the probably, I would say, the only playoff spot is going to be the division winner here. And then, we got Spooky and Terrible Two-Step, the bottom feeders in this division. So next, we're going to move on to Game of the Week quickly. Game of the Week is, this is Week 13 this week. It hasn't been played, probably be played tonight. I want the newcomer, Chiefs versus the Pats, undefeated. Huge game for the Chiefs. He's got the Pats, and then he's got the once used to be greatest player in the league, Prime, Colts, the next game. So these two games are going to really prove to me and really give the truth of what the Chiefs are in the SML. So Chiefs points for their third with 30 points a game. The Pats points for their second with 31 points a game. Points against the Chiefs, they're seventh with 17 points against, and points against for the Pats, they're fifth with 16 points against. I'm going to call it like I see it. I go with the vet. I go with the undefeated guy. I go with the smartest guy in the room. 31-21, and this is the first taste that Corey gets of SML greatness here when he faces the undefeated Pats. I'm calling a 31-21 game. Now, for the top 10, the Truth Power Rankings coming up. The only true power rankings in the SML. We're not computer generated. We don't we don't get generated from two dorks talking about numbers. No, this is gut. This is feel. This is what I do to generate these are just, hey, I'm matching up these two teams. Who wins the majority of the time? And that's who I put, ahead of each other. And obviously I go off statistics and games won and who they lost. But it can't just be computer generated. Come on, if you have me ahead of some of the guys like I just saw a ranking, it's just ludicrous, man. Ludicrous. You can't throw that stuff out there. So without further ado, power rankings, baby.
It's time for Pauly's top 10 SML power rankings.
All right, so without further ado, at number 10, we have, for the first time in my SML career, the Vikes, 9-3. Even though I think we're plummeting, our stock's plummeting with Hines getting injured and our two stud receivers getting injured. But hey, it is what it is. 9-3. Number 9, very, very big disappointment. We got the Jags at 7-5. They can still make a late push here, but they really need to win out in order to be relevant. And then we got number 8, the newcomer, Corey Keeps at 8-3. He could be higher if he beats the Pats. No doubt about that. Number 7. We got Lawyer Killer with the Packers at 9-3. Also, we split head-to-head, but now, he's got a healthy team going forward, and I think he would probably take the North if he keeps it up. We got number 6, my boy Woods, the over 40 posse member, at 9-3. At number 5, we got Meats, 9-3. He's still doing it, man. He's still, regular season hero and postseason zero, but he's doing it, at 9-3. Number 5, we got number 4. 9-2, Colts. Prime, remember him? Prime 0-0. He won a couple titles here back in the day. And then number 3, we got the BG. We got the BG at number 3. Sorry, I had to do it because this is the truth. We only tell the truth, So he's 10-2. And the reason I put him at 3 is because the guy at number 2, the Eagles, whooped him pretty handily. And I'm not going to lie about that. 10-2, Eagles. And number 1, obviously, at this point, the guy everybody's chasing, the guy everybody wants to be, the smartest guy, the Pats. 11-0, undefeated. And they got a huge game of the week coming up versus the Chiefs, probably tonight. Should be happening soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Now, last section here. Last part of the show, what everybody's waiting for. We got Water Cooler Talk, where we discuss some issues. And let me say, if you are sensitive and get your panties in a bunch, just tune out now. Just tune out now. I won't take it to heart. I promise. Just tune out now if you can't handle some joking and some good fun, because this is Water Cooler Talk, man. This is Water Cooler Talk for the boys. Let's do it.
It's time for Water Cooler Talk around the SML with Paul.
All right, first I'm going to start off on a lighter topic. Pre-game rituals, Madden rituals. I know a couple guys have rituals. I'll share mine, which I've had for a long time. First of all, my volume. I always switch the volume, to a number I feel lucky. Like last night versus PJ, I switched it to 40. And because I've won a couple games on 40 with the volume on 40. So that's just something I do. And I also always have a cold drink, mostly alcoholic, next to me when I play the game. I think it helps me relax a little bit while I'm playing. So those are my 2 rituals that I usually do before games, or during games, I should say. I know Prime, drinks his, I think his ritual is drinking chocolate milk with his G.I. Joe underwear on. I think that's his. Who else has, I think Mike's might be eating a pizza while he's playing. I'm not sure. And then who else do we have here? I got some rituals that they sent in to me. The BG just gets his hula skirt on while he's playing and dances around. That makes him good. So that's some pregame rituals. I'm really excited to see some of the guys in the league. If you talk about it in chat, what are your rituals? Do you have any before the game? Special place do you sit? Special controller you use or whatnot? So next thing, water cooler talk. What's going on with the BG, the baby goat? What's going on with him? He was going through a rut there early in the season with obviously the target on his back after he just won, the title in the way he did. Or is it, he sees Dan as almost, a more competitive game and somebody that can knock him off even more than Prime, because that game earlier that I watched between him, Dan, and the BG was pretty ugly. Dan had him figured out. Dan's a smart guy. You can tell he studies film for sure. So the BG came on chat and started not doing BG things. He almost was a little NYT-ish to say, he was coming out. BG, okay? A little advice here from Uncle P, be you, okay? Hide in the weeds and then come out playoff time and kick ass, okay? No need to be in chat putting yourself. That's what Prime wants, man. Prime wants you out there so we can see your weaknesses mentally and physically, So, hey, hide in the cut and then come out when the time matters, man. Because I know you still have another title or 2 in you this cycle. And even though Prime doesn't think you're very good and you think it's all based on the team that you inherited, but I think, you're better than these guys are saying. So just keep what you're doing, man. Hide in the weeds. Hide in the weeds and don't come out, man. Don't insult anybody because they're going to have, they're going to be out for you, to say the least. Now, last but not least, my disappointments of this cycle. And these guys I'm about to mention, when I first joined the SML, I was like, wow, these guys are really good. I heard everybody was telling me how good they were, right? But then I come to see, I see their games, I see their teams, they have a great team, they should win it. But these guys, let's be honest, this cycle are not going to win an SML championship. Okay, first I'm going to start with Rolls Royce. Okay, I played him early in the season. So Royce, definitely a disappointment, without a doubt. I came into the league and I was expecting, everybody's telling me he's the best user now that Oshi's gone, this and that. He has a pretty good team. He just got Murray. He's going to kill it. He's going to win a championship, compete. And I played him earlier in, this season. And I actually won. He lost to me. And it's a big disappointment. I heard that Royce was, going to compete, and challenge Prime. I don't think he can. Not this cycle, not this season or next, maybe next cycle for you, Roy. Sorry, man, but huge disappointment so far. And I'll see you next Madden because maybe then you'll have a chance to win. Next coach is Future, man. Big disappointment also. Always winning the West, the Wild Wild West in the NFC. Getting to the playoffs and then, dude, laying a 0 in the playoffs, man. His team is aging, I know that, but still. He needs to win, man. He's been here forever. In the playoffs, he always bows out. Either it be in the, NFC Championship or what, And I don't see him winning a Super Bowl this cycle. And you heard it here on The Truth. I don't think he can win this cycle. Maybe next cycle, their Future. And my biggest disappointment of this cycle so far, considering the team that he has, freaking receivers, unbelievable quarterback. You got a running back, unbelievable. His defense is pretty good. Is Dump. What is going on, man? I expected you to be the force. You and Prime. But now it's QB in Prime for the most part, in the AFC. Every time you get to the playoffs, you poop your diaper. It's more than just physical to win a football game. It's mental, and I don't think the wheels turn that well when you get in the playoffs for some reason. And I'm a big fan of the Jags and Coach Dump because he's the truth disciple, but I got to tell the truth. That's what the people want to hear, and you've been a huge disappointment to me. You're 7-5 now. Maybe you'll get in and squeak into the playoffs, but will you do any damage, or will you just be out again? It's just disappointing, especially with the team that you have. your team is stacked. So I expect a lot more out of you. So maybe, after hearing this, you can dial it in and make a run at it. I hope you can, but I don't see it in this Madden in this cycle. So, hey, maybe next cycle, dumb. So, hey, without further ado, the truth will be back. Playoff edition. I already have my guests. I already got my guests lined up for the next 4 shows. But for the playoff edition, I got a special SML personality who I like very much, and he's been wanting to be on the show for a while. We're going to get him on. He doesn't even know yet, but we're going to get him on. Okay, we're going to get him on to please the people because he's a man of the people himself, and I expect a big playoff run from this coach. But, guys, support the SML network. Okay, support the SML shows, great variety of shows. And, man, just support the number 1 league out there, man. That's all I got to say. If you're in Primer or you're in the SML, give it all you got. Make it even better. That's all I got to say. So I'll see you around playoff time for the big, highly anticipated playoff show. But for now, the truth, we out.